That my mic is not working. It's okay? Okay. Thank you very much. Good morning. My name is Daniel Marco. I am in charge of digital innovation in the government of Catalonia. I try to identify future scenarios, how, where the technology and disruptive technologies can change our society. Today I'm going to talk about self-management of data, how technology can achieve this, what we call distributed logic, where the digital rights, data rights, and management privacy of our data, it's in a new area or in a new way. First of all, I want to talk about some of the context of this new scenario. I'm talking first about the social challenges. People, it's having new concerns about their own data. We know, no, that we are generating data, and amounts of data. And the value of this data, it's gathering by mostly digital platforms that are providing us free services, and they are gathering our data. But which is the transparency that they are using with this data? We have Cambridge Analytica, that is a big scandal, and people is being more and more conscient about what is happening with our data. There is also other examples in, I don't know if you know, in Canada, the government of Toronto, there was a new district, a smart city district, waterproof, like 22 watt here, and they make an agreement with Google that it's Sidewalks, it's a company of Google, to manage all the district of the city. But the citizen itself start to argue about what will happen with, because it seems that they are privatizing all the management of our data. We have here some concerns on that. But also we have a new regulatory framework, GDPR, that provides us a good tool to put again the citizen at the center, to provide them the protagonism of their management. But sometimes these rules are quite difficult to translate to the reality. But we are better here in Europe in this concert than other parts of the world, because here we have this European model of data privacy. The power of the citizen is growing. It's growing, and technology is helping to that. We have the availability of people to have their own sensors. The Moore's law is helping us because the cost of technology is going down year by year. This is an example. In Barcelona, Plaza del Sol, the neighbors, puts their own noise sensors, and they are gathering this information and providing this tool to the city hall. This is what is happening in our place, because this was a place where during the night was the young people doing some noise of that. And also data science is growing behind a new neighborhood. There are examples of, in biodiversity, for example, that the most relevant studies are made by citizens' data. That means that citizens, they are providing data not only in the way they are using digital technology, also in a proactive way to different goals. And technology is changing also very, very fast. We have decentralized, today we're here talking about blockchain. Decentralized technology provides also this new infrastructure, new ways of governance of this data. But also, this distributed technology, it's arriving to other areas. Right now, we are talking about artificial intelligence distributed technology. That means that right now we are with big data programs, data lakes, where it seems that all the data needs to be in one place. Give me the data, give me the data. And when you are putting all this data in this place, who is managing this data, how they are managing this data, which are the outputs of this data, with distributed artificial intelligence, edge computing, and new devices, will open the opportunity that these algorithms are not in a big place or database, are running in our own repositories, are in our own devices, and only put out the insights that they want. All these kind of technologies provides a new environment of data management that we call it. Also, there are wearables, personal devices, and we are, because right now we have mobile phones, smartphones, that means that we are generating a lot of data, but what will happen with the medical devices at home that we bring it together? These are very powerful tools for providing information, but also very, very powerful tools to understand and manage their own sensors. In this sense, we have an environment with different social challenges, because we have the concerns of the people, but also technological challenges and technological opportunities, as are different kind of technologies that can help us for this, as we call it, distributed logic. That means that the power it's in anywhere, the power it's more related to the citizens. But this environment also generates new agents and new functions in the internet space and the data governance. What kind of agents? This kind of new standards, We need to build a new standard. We are now with internet model that when it starts, it was a very, very open model, but at the end, what we have right now, it's a very concentrated, powerful in the model. Right now, there are different programs or projects. I don't know who knows Solid in the room. Can just one person, two person? It's this is the project of Tim Berners-Lee, the creator of the World Wide Web, that wants to go back again and generate a new infrastructure, a new way to create applications on the web that puts the governance itself in the citizens. Not right now, like the big platforms that has their own power. The code is a European project led by Barcelona and other cities in Europe that also tries to put the management of the data in the citizen. That means that we need to generate new standards and new solutions on the topic. Also, there are personal repositories. DigiMe, it's a new platform that the citizens can download all their data, but they have their own repository. That means that this is distributed social network, distributed platforms, that there is not a single point with all the data, that it's if every user can use their own repository in a private or in a public domain. Also, there are new agents about defining this kind of governance, more citizen-centric strategy. My Global Data, it's an organization. They are aware about self-management of data. They started in Finland, but there is an European organization that tries to put down this kind of new models of governance. Here in Catalonia, we have Saluscop. This is an organization of civic people that concentrates their own power to share, in this case, personal healthcare data. That means that they are appearing a new movement of organizations that are focused on citizens and that they're trying to define. They are already defining in their fields new ways of managing the data from the people. At the end, what we have in this distributed logic, it's we add to these social and technological challenges new agents. We are talking about different kind of agents and civic institutions, and also new functions for this management of the data. That means we can access really to our data, because right now we are really accessing to all our data that different platforms or institutions, even the government has itself. We can add information, we can provide also information to companies, to the government itself. But we need to homologate and standardize this information to be useful for this kind of purpose. And also we need to have the right to share, to donate by our peers from different citizens or with different institutions, and self-management. Then, how we can achieve this new scenario of citizen rights and data? What can we do as an institution to instrument these rights? Because it's more easy to define which are these rights, to go and implement that, and which are the applications, the projects, or initiatives that we can do. I am going to explain you some of areas that we are developing in the government and trying to go to achieve this scenario. First of all, the ministry talks about this Charter of Digital Rights and Responsibilities, that it's a way to enhance, to break down that the citizens itself have these kind of rights, and that the institutions need to define a roadmap to go ahead on that. This is a way to enhance rights. But how to instrument that? First of all, to instrument the right of self-management, we have put in place, we are launching right now a digital identity, a self-sovereign digital identity, where the citizens will manage their own identity. The different attributes and the different information related to them. And they can share that with anyone that they want. This is a rate of really self-management of your own data. How to instrument access? No? Right now, there is the GDPR that says to the administrations that all the data it's from the citizens, and they can access to all of that. If we have a citizens, any of you, come to our office and ask for all your data, we are in a trouble. But let's start. We have very good personal record healthcare system. We have really a personal record system, and right now you can ask to that. Put it easier to that, no? Blue button, that means download directly to any of your personal repository that you want, and then you have your own data. You can go to any country in the world, to any public or private doctor, and you have really access to your management of data. Also, you have the right of production, as we call it about. We need to homologate devices. We need to define the way about the citizen can provide us information. This is a quality air sensor control that we are homologating with the Department of Sustainability to gather information from the citizens itself, and the most important, to incorporate that as a public information. Also, we are doing that in the healthcare area, the wearables, the way if a doctor can collect data from the citizens and provide them to their tool. What is really important to that is that this information, it's in the repository of the citizens and in the repository of the administration. That means this distributed information related. Finally, the right of donation, the right of sharing. we need to instrument also the way of the citizens can share from their own. We have a project with Saluscope that call it you, that it's a license. They find a license where the people can share their own healthcare data. And they make a participatory process to ask different people about when they are able to do that. And mainly are data for common good, that are projects that the results of the projects are open to the whole science community. That if in any moment I want to go back and stop to donate that, I can do that, and some other pieces of information. That means that a citizen, and it's done by blockchain technology, can, from their personal data, they can make, provide a key for an institution, a researcher, to use this data with this kind of license. This is also a way to standardize really the way to share this information. Where we are today and where we want to go with this distributed logic. Right now, this is Maria. Maria is a citizen that has most of their data in a lot of digital platforms, but she cannot really access to that. She cannot manage and share that. Also, Maria has a lot of information in different databases of the government. And in a practical way, she cannot access also to that. Where we want to go in the future? We have Maria. It seems that it's more happy. And Maria has their own repository. She has a place, a tool where she can manage their own data. And she downloads all their personal health record. That means all the data that the institutions has to these personal records. And she can share with that because she is managing already that. And also, it's providing by different devices information to their personal record. This is their own data. But this data can be also shared by the institutions and Maria. From other side, Maria has an identity, a digital identity, and a way to share this information with licenses. That means with all kind of different distributed technologies that provides she the ability to share that. At the end, this is really a scenario where the citizens has tools, instruments to manage their own data. And this new way of technologies, distributed ledger technologies, distributed artificial intelligence, edge computing, and all this we called new digital wave provides a roadmap for this new, that we call it, distributed Catalonia. We are defining, implementing different areas. We hope that events like that opens our community. And if you want to collaborate with us, we will be very proud to achieve this, our goal, this distributed Catalonia. Thank you very much.